Hi, I'm Sabrina Ziegler from Authenticin.com.
And I'm Kate Brubaker from smallplanetstudio.com.
And together we're the co-hosts of the Living Your Ideal Global Life Summit. So Kate, I wanted to ask you, what is a global life?
That's a great question. A global life is whatever it means to you. It's meant different things to me at different times in my life. And I'm sure it'll be different as I continue to get older and do different things. At one point, it meant living abroad. At another point, it meant traveling a lot and teaching German. And right now, it means working with people from all over the world, virtually and in person. It means being a part-time nomad. So I have a home base in North Carolina, and I travel and do workations around the world. It means engaging in global activities in my local community. What does it mean for you?
So for me, and I think it's taken me a while to come to the definition of a global life that I have right now. But for me right now, it's really about having that globalness or the global aspects in my life, regardless of where I am. But when I was younger, I was going to say, but before I really thought it meant how many plane tickets I'm purchasing, where I'm studying abroad, where I'm living abroad, because that's what I was doing. I went to university abroad. I was living in Europe for over 8 years. I had lived most of my teenage years in different countries. So for me, I always thought global, I had to be traveling and getting different stamps on my passport. But I've come to realize that's really about my mindset, my intention, and welcoming that global into my life, celebrating different festivals with people, experiencing different foods, watching news from different cultures and countries, and really incorporating various aspects of global into my life. Right now, I'm in Vancouver, Canada, and I work with organizations that support immigrants and refugees coming to the province, and that's really one aspect where I find I get a lot of global connectivity and globalness into my everyday life, even though I'm here at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I so agree. Based on the way that I had started living my global life when I was a teenager, I kind of got tunnel vision and thought, I'm only living a global life if I am doing this, this, and this. And that really, even though those things were fantastic, it really shut out a lot of other things that I just didn't really consider as, options for my life, because I thought, well, those aren't global. And fortunately now I realize there's a lot of different things that I can do to be global. And some things I want to continue doing, like traveling. I want to continue doing that my whole life. But I don't want to shut myself off to other opportunities.
Exactly. Like I always thought I had to be like the one or the other. And I'm now realizing that it can encompass so many different aspects and so many different angles. I was wondering, Kate, how did you come to that realization? Like, was it through like a lot of conversations, through this experience? Like, what brought you to that?
Yeah, it was all those things. I think it was a lot of reflection on my part, a lot of conversations with people, asking myself some really tough questions. A few years ago, I've been living in North Carolina for a while, and I just really wanted to leave. And so I said to my husband, hey, let's sell the house. Let's quit our jobs. Let's go traveling for a couple of years, because that was my solution to everything, was to move and to go somewhere new and go abroad. And so I thought, well, it's time to do that. And my husband said, that sounds fantastic, and I want to do that at some point, but not right at the moment. Right now, I really like having some roots and our house, and I love my job, and this is what I really want to be doing this at that time. And I thought, okay, what does this mean? And I really had to ask myself the question of, if I'm not living abroad, am I still global? Who am I if I'm not traveling all the time? Is this all there is to me? And so I really spent some time thinking about it. and thinking that, well, what is there about my local community that I can learn? How can I incorporate these global aspects that I enjoy, being abroad and traveling, with some of these things that I initially hadn't really seen as interesting or valuable, which is being somewhere for a little while and having some roots and having a house. So it took, asking myself hard questions, a lot of talking with people, and allowing myself the freedom to create the life that works for me, even though it doesn't necessarily look a certain way maybe to other people. And I can say now I've created a life, a global life that I love, a part-time nomad. I feel like I have the best of both worlds. And I know that it's going to evolve, and it's going to evolve in a way that works for my life, however it is in 5 or 10 years.
Exactly. Like, I kind of went through the same realization, the same kind of work that I did, like through conversations, through talking with other people, like through asking myself some really difficult questions, because I had been living abroad for over 8 years, and I came back to my home country and my hometown, and I really felt like a failure. Like, I was like, okay, so I lived abroad, but, well, I guess I didn't succeed. I wasn't successful. I wasn't able to sustain my stuff or stay. And I thought, coming back home, that was just the sign that, you failed. The global life is over. And you kind of have to, I don't know, just forget about that dream. And I really noticed that, like, through conversations that I'm asking myself those hard questions, that, it's not failure coming back home. It's a different angle of your global life. And it's, you need to take what you learn and how your experiences and incorporate that into your life at home. And which is why I've found the career path that I did, working with immigrants and refugee agencies. It's how I was able to incorporate a lot of my learning into my life.
Yeah. I felt the same way. I thought, well, am I failing at being global if I'm living in my home country? And I thought, but it's not possible for me to live abroad right now. That's just not an option. So do I need to give all this up? And, and it was a really, really difficult thing to face. And I realized, like you did, no, I'm making a choice. And I like my choice right now. And that doesn't mean it's not either or. I realize it's not like I can only be happy and only be myself when I'm outside my home country, or I'm traveling, or I'm doing these, things. I also realized that for me, the traveling and living abroad and moving around is easy. I mean, it's difficult, but it's easy for me. It's comfortable. It feels great. It's very comfortable. It's familiar. What is actually more challenging at this point in my life is staying in one place and doing some of these other things. And I thought, that's also what having a global life is all about. It's about challenging yourself and doing new things and being in new situations with new people. And so for me, this whole thing of having a house and being in one place, I live on the opposite side of the country from where I grew up. So there's a lot of newness right here, and there's a lot of challenge that I'm finding here that I wouldn't necessarily find if I was doing the things that I had been doing in the last 20 years.
So as you can tell, I'm hoping, Cate and I, we could go on. We have a lot of conversations about these topics, and we could, we love talking about this. And Cate, for me, has been one of the people who I've been talking to, and I know that we've had lots of these conversations together. So we've decided to invite you all to these conversations, and we've just continued them by creating the Living Your Ideal Global Life Summit. We hope you join us in January. Check it all out at globallifesummit.com.